Hello and welcome to my new channel, Sonic Sorcery. On this YouTube channel, you will find videos around the idea of working with sound in a healing context or in with the intention to create music that is altering and expanding the consciousness, and that is going beyond the idea of entertainment, and it's about creating conscious soundscapes and working with frequencies in order to raise the vibration and help people to get into a state of relaxation, meditation, contemplation, all the good stuff. And I need to apologize. My webcam is at the bottom of my laptop, so that's why it looks a little bit weird, the position. I have to look down, and when I'm looking at the screen, I have another screen over here, and it looks like that I'm not looking at you. And I just wanted to say hi so you get to know me, for the ones that have never seen me before. And I will turn off the camera in a bit because it's not about me, it's about the content that I'm providing. And I'm very excited. I've been working with healing frequencies the last 2 years. I researched a lot, and I found quite some interesting things that are very powerful and that I'm using in my sessions and in my work. And I'm very excited to share these with you. And that being said, this is the first video, and this will be about binaural beats. What are binaural beats? We're going to have a look at that and how we can use them in the context that I was just talking about. And then also, how can binaural beats entrain our brain? So how can these frequencies help us to affect our brain in a positive way? And then we're going to look at how we can actually create them within Ableton using the operator, which is a synthesizer within Ableton. And then we might have a look at how to create a little template for that and some other creative uses. So that's my first video on this channel. I'm very excited, and thank you for watching, and let's dive right into it. So I just might turn off my camera now so you don't see me anymore and you can focus more on the screen. Okay, so what are binaural beats? And to answer this question, it makes a lot more sense if we can hear it, and we're gonna hear it in a minute. For now, I just wanted to say that basically binaural beats is a psychoacoustic, maybe that's not even true, it's not psychoacoustic, but it's a mystery of phenomena in the brain that occurs when you play one frequency on one side, on the, let's say, the left side of your ear, of your headphones, and you play another frequency on the right side of your headphones, and the difference in hertz, like the difference of the frequencies, will create a third frequency within your brain. And the brain does that automatically, and that's very interesting. And this frequency will work as an entrainment frequency, or this frequency will then put your brain into a desired state that you want to have in order to relax or to receive healing or to get into a deep state of meditation. And so let's have a look first at the different brainwave states. So I have an image here. Right here you can see the different brainwave frequencies dispelled in hertz. So we have like delta for deep dream and deep dreamless sleep. And then we have theta for vivid dreams, REM sleep. So this is usually used for healing, like theta healing. It's a very deep relaxative state where you can see it has the potential for spiritual experiences and a sense of connectedness, deep meditation, those kind of things. So this is usually what we aim for when we make like meditation music or like deep healing sound journeys. And then we have the alpha frequencies, which are more like relaxation, intuition, and creativity. So this you can play when you want people just to relax, but not like totally, zoom out. So depending on, the purpose, you can use it to create music that people can use, to study or to strengthen their intuition if you do like guided journeys. And of course, it's also creating a state of relaxation. And as it says here, concentration and learning, visualization, all those things are heightened and supported. Awareness expands, creativity increases. So all the good stuff is happening when we entrain our brain into an alpha state. And then we have the beta, which is what we say like the waking consciousness, the normal consciousness that most people operate on when they are not necessarily relaxed or doing something creative. This is alertness, concentration, reasoning, between 14 to 40 hertz. Logic and analysis, so you want usually to get people out of this state when you treat them or when they listen to your relaxing music or when you do a sound journey or sound healing on them. That's usually the state you find them in, and you want to get them here and then maybe here and maybe here, but usually delta is like more for sleeping. That's for people who have difficulties to fall asleep or something to listen to overnight. And then very interesting also, the gamma is above 40 hertz, and this is like high level information processing inside, associated with bursts of insight, high level information processing. And that you might want to use if you work with affirmations and things like that in your guided journeys. So yeah, that was a brief look at the brainwave frequencies, and those frequencies we want to recreate using binaural beats, right? So let's have a look what that actually sounds like and looks like if we want to do it in Ableton. So I'm going back to Ableton. I'm in version 10 right now. It doesn't really matter which version you're using, but what is important is that you have the suite version, because you need the operator for what I'm going to show you right now. So if we go to the browser here, we go to instruments and then operator. The first thing we're going to do is we insert an operator into a MIDI channel here. It can be any MIDI channel. I can just drag and drop it like so. And then you see we have the 4 oscillators. We just need one for now, so we can disable the ones, right? Those letters are representing different oscillators, so I deactivate each oscillator and leave this one open, the oscillator A. And what I want to do now is I want to set this here to fixed, right? So this means I can type in a fixed frequency value, and let's say we start by 200. That's a good starting point. And what I also want to do is now I want to group it. So you can right click, group, or you can hit Command G on a Mac or Control G on a PC. I'm on a PC right now, right? And this will create an instrument rack, and which that allows us is to create a chain, so you can have multiple instruments within one channel. And so what we can do now is we can right click here on the operator and we can actually duplicate it. So now we have 2 identical copies of operator, and we want to pan this one to the left side, first one all the way to the left, and the other one all the way to the right. So basically what we're having now is two oscillators playing the same frequency, one on the left side and one on the right side, and they simultaneously. So if I play a note right now, I have to arm this for recording in order to play a note, and I can enable this here, so I can use my keyboard, my computer keyboard, the letters from A to L as notes. So I press the letter A now and it's playing the note C, but it doesn't matter which note I'm playing, because because it's a fixed frequency value, right? So it doesn't matter which note I'm playing actually. And I can show you that also here. If I create a MIDI clip here, insert MIDI clip, right? We see the piano roll. And in order to hear what we are playing, we can activate this pre-listen button here, like the headphone symbol, and then we can click on the notes. This says G3. Plays this note. The same, right? All are playing 200 hertz now. So what we want to do now is we create a MIDI clip, and we want this frequency to play a pretty long time, because we don't want it to just loop one bar. And why that is, I can show you. If I have to just one bar, it will play one bar and then it will repeat, and it will make this kind of click sound. You know, which is kind of annoying, especially if it comes so quickly and you want people to relax, and this is kind of not necessarily relaxing. So what I would do, I would, you know, create a very long loop, let's say 144 bars for now, just as an example. And I would set the grid, right-clicking here, to 8 bars, and that means that the note that I'm drawing in by double-clicking becomes an 8-bar note, and now I can stretch that out all the way like so. And now it takes a lot longer until it repeats. You see, now it's playing here, and it needs to go all the way to here in order to repeat. So let me turn this down a little bit. In general, you don't want the binaural beats to be like super loud. You want them more in the background, you know, like more felt than heard. For the brain, it doesn't make a difference if it's like played loud or almost silent. You know, it's just the importance that it's there and that it's a difference between the left and the right side. So now it gets interesting, right? So we have this upper operator and the down, and to distinguish them, I'm gonna rename this one, right click, Command R into left, and then this one into right. And now the binaural beat comes alive when I'm detuning one of the oscillators. So now they are at the same tone, 200, right? But let's see if I type in 205. Now the left one is on 200 hertz still, and the right one is on 205. And this 5 hertz difference between left and right will be perceived as the binaural beat, which relates to a theta wave. I think we need to check that again, but let's have a listen how that sounds. Right, you can perceive that pulse. And if I increase it even more, it will go higher. So now we are in alpha with 14 hertz difference. So left is 200, right is 214. And it sounds like this. Right, so now we have this very fast, almost pulsing binaural beat, and then we can go all the way up to almost 240, which is then better again. So this is how the binaural beat gets created, by the difference between the left and the right side. I need to say that's only working with headphones, obviously, because you need to have this panning effect. But in general, if you create like music for meditation and stuff, most of the people are gonna listen with headphones anyway. So that being said, now we can get a step further, and let me connect my MIDI controller for that. So you can of course map this. So what we can do now is, so this is going to be the frequency that we want to change. The left side we want to have stable as 200 as our reference frequency, and the right side we want to create the modulation for the binaural beats. So I can right click here and map that to macro 1. And this creates a macro mapping here. And now you can see if I move this, it's actually moving in the oscillator. But what's happening is it's going all the way from 10 hertz to 2000 hertz. And that's not what we want. We want just from 200 to 240. So there's a little trick. So 1 second, I connect my MIDI controller. And you can basically use any controller you want for this. I'm using the MIDI fighter. So 1 second, let me show you that on my screen. So that is the MIDI fighter. It's a MIDI controller where I can just map those knobs, right? But you could use anything that has a knob that you can twist. So now I'm going to go to MIDI map mode if everything is connected properly. If I click on here, you see all the parameters that can be mapped with the controller, which means you can remote control them without using the mouse. In this case, I want to control the frequency here. So I'm going to click on the frequency. And now I'm going to move a knob on my controller. Oh, I see it's not mapped. So we need to check again in the preferences. Sometimes the MIDI controller is not showing up. So if I go to MIDI here in the preferences, see, it's not showing. So I need to unplug it again. Plug it in again. And here we see it's showing up. MIDI fighter twister. We have this on track and remote is on the output and on the input. So now we can go ahead and map it again. So I go to MIDI, click this one, twist the first knob, and now you can see show me 1 0. That means the first knob is mapped. And what you can see here on top, that's very important. So now we can set the minimum value and the maximum value. So we don't want to go down from like 10 hertz to 2000. So we start, the minimum value will be our 200 reference frequency. And the maximum we want to have for now, maybe, let's say 250 hertz, because we maybe want to go into gamma, right? So now we have like a minimum 200, maximum 250 hertz. And what's happening now is if I move my controller, now you can see, all I'm doing is turning the knob, and it's now moving like very gentle. And if we actually play the binaural beat, you can hear how it's changing. So now we have 1 hertz, 4, and I can dial it in, by hand. So that's pretty cool. If I want, I can rename this into binaural beat, so that I know what this is doing. It's not just saying macro 1, it's just actually saying binaural beat. And then what we can do now is, for instance, if you want to create a preset, let's say you don't have a controller, or let's say you want to work with a fixed frequency value, that's very interesting. So we're going to use the automation, the clip automation. That means we can draw an envelope that will change this value over here. So in order to do that, I can just double click on the clip, right? And down here where it says clip, there's the envelope automation enabling button. So I click on this one, and then you see this red line shows up, and now it says 200 hertz. And I can right click, right? And I can click add value, and I can type in 204, for instance. So now this will be a 4 hertz binaural beat. And if we look at our graphic again, 4 hertz would mean theta, right? So we could rename this, right click, 4 hertz theta. And then we could create another one, or maybe better we just duplicate this one because this one already has the node inside and the value. We can just change the value. So now we have an identical copy, but in this one we want to go maybe to 210, which should then be alpha, I guess. Yeah. So this is alpha. This is just an example. You can set the values any way you want. So now we go 10 hertz alpha. Okay, so you could go on like this, and create as many presets as you want. Those are pretty static at the moment. So now it's just always 4 hertz. But the cool thing is, if you want it to change over time, for instance, let me give you an example. What I do a lot is I try to meet the people where they are when they come into a session, which is usually in the beta range, right? So I will start with a low beta, which is like 14 or maybe like 15. And I will let that play for a while. So the brain is in an environment that it's used to, but already it's a lower frequency than the super high 40 hertz. And then I will slowly shift it into alpha. And then if I want to, depending on how long the journey is going and depending on the intention, I will go down to theta and then back to alpha. But let's say for now we just want to, meet the people at the alpha state and want to, at the beta state, and we want to meet them, bring them into the alpha state. So what we can do is we have the alpha wave here, right? And so let's edit this value 215 maybe. So that's maybe like the starting frequency where they are. And then let's say over time, maybe over 5 minutes or something, let's see, 65 bars. What does that equal actually in time? So here we have the linear time. I just shifted to the arrangement view. Okay, so that's 2 minutes. Now we need some more time. So when that is 2 minutes, then double would be, it's almost towards the end. It's almost like if we have 60 here, then 120 would be 4 minutes. So 144, yeah, it's almost until the end here. Let's say like this. And now we want to create like steady movement. So we added the value here and I type in, so we want to go to alpha maybe 207 or something. Or maybe 208, right? And now what you can see is over time, it will move from 215 automatically. All you need to do is launch that clip, and then we can rename it actually from 10 hertz, or let's say 15 hertz is it now? 15 hertz alpha. Actually, it's better, right? 15 hertz is better. So 15 hertz better to 8 hertz alpha. So you could use this, for instance, you could play this clip and then you would see over time this would change. See, now we're at 13 and so on. So this way you have a progression, and of course what you could do is you could copy this one and you could paste it into the arrangement view. So we took it from channel 1, so I could paste it here. And then we would have it actually in a linear timeline. And we could do the same here. You could, and that's what I'm doing when I'm working with journeys that I want to, like, say, release, right? So like recorded stuff or like studio works, then I would do it in the linear timeline. But if I do sessions with clients or live performances, sound journeys and things like that, I would do it in here, in the session view. And so let me give you an example how that would actually sound with music, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm adding some meditation sounds of my sound pack, which is called Deep Shamanic Journeys. And if you're interested to get that pack, you can get it on my website, harmonicresonance.com. I will put the link in the description, and it's basically like a template for sound healing journeys. So let's say I open this up and I go to the drones and I import the drones. So all I need to do is double click on the drones. It's bringing in the drone sounds now. And then those are all loops that I've recorded, and they work at 60 BPM. So let's bring down. In general, when we talk about, sound healing and heart rates and stuff, then I think 60 BPM is a good starting frequency, because the heart rate of 60 is a pretty relaxed, good, healthy heart rate. So yeah, let's keep it with 60, and also because everything here was created in 60, and 60 is usually the frequency, the BPM that I'm working in when I'm doing sound journeys and sound healings with Ableton. So let's find a nice drone. Maybe, let's see. It's still pretty loud, the binaural beat. I'm going to bring it down. Minus 24 is like a good volume in the mix here. Right, and if you wanted to, you could guide people with your voice. And you can bring in some more effects and nature sounds. I really love to work with nature sounds for these kind of journeys. So let's take some forest sounds maybe. And some water, because I really think water is important to bring us into connection with our emotional body. I always work with water. And then you just can close your eyes for a minute and see how it feels if you listen to this. I hope you listen on headphones. If not, try to get your headphones out, connect them and listen. Otherwise it will be difficult for you to hear the binaural beats. If I wanted to, I could add some instruments as well. I have some instruments here. Maybe a hand drum or a flute. Maybe let's try the flute first. and so on. So I think you get the idea, and I hope this helped you to understand how to create binaural beats in Ableton with the operator. And currently I'm working on a template for sound healing, so something like this, but with all like a lot of healing frequencies and binaural beats and solfeggio frequencies and things like that. And I will keep you posted about that. And yeah, I hope you found this useful, and I hope you will be able to help many people on their journey of self-realization and contemplation and healing with what you do. And yeah, I encourage you to create your own template, you know, based on what you feel. I can just give you like a little last suggestion that for me seems to be working quite well, in a sense that if we look at the graphic again, right, you see here the variance. So let's say beta is from 40 to 14, alpha is from 14 to 7.5, theta is from 5 to from 7.5 to 4, and so on. So what you could do is you could create a little template here in Ableton, and we could just make these progressions here. So we could do this even a little longer. Maybe, what is a good number? 144 is a good number. Maybe we double it, or we just see what comes up here. I like to work with multiples of 3, 6, and 9 in all the settings and all the parameters and stuff. It's just something that relates to the vortex-based mathematics and to Pythagorean mathematics. And yeah, they're just very significant numbers for me. So 201 feels good in the sense that it's adding up to 3. And okay, so we have this now, and let's say we want to recreate the first progression, and I don't look at gamma right now. So let's say we start at beta, where the people that are coming to you are probably in. So we go from 40 hertz to 14 hertz, and we can do that by enabling the automation again. And we have to click on this one, and then the one that we last clicked on will show up here. So we right click, edit the value, type in 240, which represents the 40 hertz of the beta state. And then pretty quickly, you know, we want to get them out there. You see this, it's already going down. So let's see, the end result will be 14, I think, if we look at it again. Yeah, 14. So I want it to end at 214 here, so that's what I type in. 214, and maybe I want it to progress a little quicker, you know, because it's still pretty high. Let's see what is 1 minute here. 1 minute is 16 bars, because now we go to 60. Everything is double at the time because we put the tempo from 120 to 60. So now it takes 2 minutes to get to 33 instead of 1. So after 1 minute, which means 17 bars, I want it to go way down already. So all the way to here, 233 is still too high for me. I want to be like in the 20s. So I hold shift, click it, and then I can go down in small increments and go to 225 maybe, which is 9 in total. Right, it's a good value. So, and this is 6, and this is 9. And what is this? It's 7. Okay. But we have to keep also the scientific measurements here. All right, so we go down from 240 to 125 all the way to, and we could then name this, you know, better 40 hertz to 14 hertz. And that's a progression. And then, you know, you could do that for each frequency range. Just check the graphic. Like, you can find that anywhere. I will put a link for the image where you can download it. But you can just, you know, Google brainwave frequencies or binaural beats frequencies, and you will find this value. But because we've worked with this graphic, I will put it in the description. Okay, yeah, and that's it for today. Thank you for watching again. And yeah, I plan to do many more of these. I'm working on courses right now, online courses. I'm also doing private classes. Maybe let me put up the camera again so you can see me. Here I am. So yeah, as I said, I'm working on online courses about sound healing, medicine music creation. I'm also producing organic downtempo, and I'm also teaching medicine music production, one-on-one sessions on Zoom. So if you're interested in that, you can also reach out to my website, or you can send me an email at info@harmonicresonance.com, and we can make an appointment or like a Zoom call and see if we want to work together. And yeah, that's it. Sending you much love and many blessings from Costa Rica. And see you in another video. That was my first Sonic Sorcery video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.